The 2-minute rule that changes everything. What if I told you that the secret to building life-changing habits isn't about motivation, willpower, or massive action? You've tried before, you wanted to read more, exercise daily, eat healthier, or learn a new skill, but somehow you always gave up after a few days or weeks. The problem isn't you. The problem is that you're trying to change too much, too fast. But what if there was a better way? Enter the 2-minute rule from James Clear's Atomic Habits. This simple principle has helped millions of people build lasting habits without the overwhelm. The rule states that when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do, not 2 hours, not 20 minutes, just 2. Now you might be thinking, how can 2 minutes possibly make a difference? That's exactly what I thought too. And that's the beauty of it. See, we often focus on the outcome we want rather than the identity we need to become. We want to climb the mountain, but we ignore the single step. When we set goals like run a marathon or read 50 books this year, we're essentially trying to lift a weight that's way too heavy for where we are right now. But the 2-minute rule makes the weight so light that you can't say no. It removes friction and makes starting inevitable rather than impossible. Let me give you some examples. Instead of run for 30 minutes, your 2-minute habit becomes put on my running shoes. That's it. Instead of read for an hour every day, it becomes read 1 page. Instead of meditate for 20 minutes, it becomes take 3 deep breaths. Instead of clean the entire house, it becomes wash 1 dish. Do you see the pattern here? We're scaling down to the smallest possible version. Now, I know what you're thinking. This seems almost too simple. How is reading 1 page going to make me well read? Here's the secret. You're not trying to read 1 page forever. You're trying to become the type of person who reads every single day. Every time you complete your 2-minute habit, you're casting a vote for the identity you want to build. You're proving to yourself, I am someone who reads. And here's what naturally happens. Once you put on those running shoes, you often end up going for a short walk. Once you read 1 page, you frequently read a few more. The 2-minute rule gets you through the door. It's not about the habit itself. It's about becoming the type of person you want to be. Let's say you commit to putting on your running shoes every day for a month. By the end of that month, you've established the identity of someone who shows up for exercise. The beautiful thing is that habits need to be established before they can be improved. You can't optimize a habit that doesn't exist yet. Most people try to skip the establishment phase and jump straight to optimization. That's like trying to run upstairs 3 steps at a time when you haven't even learnt to walk up them normally. Now, let me share the 3 key principles that make the 2-minute rule so powerful. First, it must be easy enough that you can do it, even on your worst days. Think about it. There will be days when you're exhausted, stressed, or just don't feel like it. Your habit needs to be so simple that you can still do it. Second principle, it must be the natural first step of the habit you want to build. Putting on running shoes naturally leads to running. Opening a book naturally leads to reading. Think of it as the first domino that will naturally cause the others to fall. You want the momentum of starting to carry you into continuing. Third principle, it must feel like a win. When you complete your 2-minute habit, you should feel successful, not like you've barely done anything. Let me warn you about the most common mistakes people make with the 2-minute rule. First, they make it too complicated, even at 2 minutes. Read 1 page turns into read 1 page, take notes, and research the author. No, keep it stupid simple. Complexity is the enemy of consistency. Second mistake, they scale up too quickly. After 3 days of reading 1 page, they jump to reading for an hour. Slow down. Let the identity solidify first. Third mistake, they underestimate the power of small actions. They think 1 page doesn't matter, so they skip days. But every action is a vote for your identity. Remember, you're not just reading 1 page. You're becoming a reader. You're not just putting on shoes. You're becoming someone who prioritizes their health. Here's what happens after a few weeks. Your identity starts to shift. You begin to see yourself differently, and that internal change drives external behavior. Once your identity as a reader is established, reading more becomes natural. Once you're someone who exercises, longer workouts become obvious next steps. The 2-minute rule works because it's based on how our brains actually change. We become what we repeatedly do, even if those actions seem insignificant. Consistency beats intensity every single time. It's better to read 1 page every day for a year than to read for 5 hours once a month. So here's your challenge. Pick one habit you want to build, just one. Now scale it down to something you can do in 2 minutes or less. Write it down. Commit to it for the next 30 days. Don't worry about doing more. Just focus on showing up and proving to yourself who you're becoming. Remember, you're not just building a habit, you're cultivating an identity. You're becoming the person you've always wanted to be, one tiny action at a time. The person you'll be a year from now is determined by the small actions you take today. The 2-minute rule isn't about staying small forever. It's about starting small so you can become big. It's about proving to yourself that change is possible, one microscopic improvement at a time. So what will your 2-minute habit be? Remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Start today, start small, and watch how everything changes.